Welcome back to part 2 of our E3 talk predictions. This is Noob Talk. I'm Liban Ali, but I'm here with a different guest today, my good friend CC.
Hey, how's it going?
So CC, you excited for E3?
I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to mainly the Final Fantasy type of things, like 15 and 7.
Well, lucky for you, that's what we're about to talk about first.
Woo!
So Square Enix are holding their active time report. So why don't you start off with this one? What are you looking forward to seeing?
To be honest, a new trailer. I reckon they can squeeze in a new trailer for Final Fantasy 15 because it's coming out in September the 30th, but you know, there's still a few months away from that yet. And not only that, I reckon we'll probably see a new trailer for Final Fantasy 7 as well.
Well, considering, let's talk about that topic, Final Fantasy 15. A lot of stuff has already been said about it. A lot of information has already been released about it.
Yep, chocobos can run faster than cars.
Chocobos versus cars, crashing.
Yeah, you
airships.
can crash. Airship crashing. Yeah.
So, what other things you think Square Enix might surprise us with when it comes to 15?
Well, minigames, I guess. Justice Monsters 5 is going to have a release date apparently announced shortly after E3.
Oh,
so
right.
That's something to look forward to on like iOS, Android, and Windows 10, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm guessing more minigames and things like that. And hopefully a little bit more talk on the in-game kind of skill tree system. Because with that, apparently there's like new abilities you can get, which I'd expect because it's built on a Kingdom Hearts engine as such. So I guess there's only good things to come. But yeah, the car that transforms into essentially an airship, that's pretty fun.
Alright, so that's Final Fantasy 15. There's not much we can really say about it. A lot of the info is already out there, unless Square Enix turn around and be like, you're not getting the game anymore. That would be the biggest surprise.
Yeah, that would be a very big surprise, and we'd all be very saddened by it.
And their offices might suddenly disappear one night.
Yeah.
So, Final Fantasy 7, that was announced last year.
Yeah.
It's getting a remake. People have been waiting for this for a long time.
A very long time.
A very long time. I mean, are you looking forward to it, or?
Yeah, I am actually. There are a few things I wanted to touch on. So, it's being released as episodic content, and I don't personally see that as a big issue. I did originally, but the reason why I don't is because if you break down previous Final Fantasies, you get them like, say Final Fantasy 9 was on 4 discs. So you could technically say if there are 4 episodes coming out, each of those discs that previously came out represent 1 episode. So you could get 4 that make a whole game, almost as if you had like 4 different discs. I think it could work.
However, with remakes such as this, do we see it as a success though? I mean, I know people have been clamoring for it, but again, it's being remade. Final Fantasy 7 is an old game. They have added a lot of new mechanics to it. Do you see it selling well or doing well?
I see it kind of being a bit split down the middle with old fans and new fans, because yeah, it's going to be more open for like casual gamers to get into, but then the more hardcore original fans might be insulted by that because they are so into their Japanese role-playing games. Like, I played Final Fantasy 7 when it first came out, and the one thing I'm going to miss is the turn-based combat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I really like Kingdom Hearts, don't get me wrong, but Final Fantasy 7 I always felt should be turn-based, but then we had Crisis Core, and Crisis Core was really, really good, and in a sense it wasn't turn-based, but it still had a menu system you go through to select kind of what materia magic you wanted to cast and things like that. It was a lot faster paced, but it wasn't Kingdom Hearts style. Like, you didn't have combos you could go through, which I presume is what's happening with the remake.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we do know Square Enix are coming to E3 to talk about Final Fantasy. Other things they might talk about, maybe Tomb Raider might show up again.
Yeah.
Maybe Tomb Raider might show up. I haven't had a chance to play the current one. It's Xbox only, that's why.
Yeah. I played the original of the reboot, so the first of the 2.
Yeah.
I've not played the latest one.
And the game for me personally, I mean, I like playing it, was Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Sleeping Dogs 2 come out. If Square Enix decide to do that, you guys will be the best. I know you haven't played Sleeping Dogs, and I've been championing it that it's actually a really good game.
Yeah.
It's, if you think GTA with full-on martial arts,
That
and a
sounds
lot more brutality.
pretty fun.
Yeah, and GTA is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
A lot more brutality. You got sleeping dogs.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a try. Stranglehold was pretty good.
It was pretty good actually.
Yeah.
But we're getting off track
But
now.
we are going off
You're
track.
getting off
This
track.
isn't E3.
This isn't E3, yeah. So let's continue our predictions with now PlayStation.
Okay, so I saw on Facebook, believe it or not, that social media channel we all love. Not really.
No, not at all. No.
So yeah, there was apparently a new God of War has been leaked, and I saw 2 screenshots of it, and it looked like they were
What?
rebooting it.
I thought it was over though.
I did too. Apparently not, but I don't know. Maybe they should have stopped because Ascension was not very good. It's the only one that I didn't actually like.
Ooh, take that, fanboys.
And I love God of War. I really love God of War, but Ascension just didn't do it for me. And yeah, this new one, it's apparently set in like a fairy world. The screenshot that I saw had Kratos with a full-on beard, not just his pointy, like, decapitating goatee. the sharpest goatee you've ever seen.
Sharpest knife in the world.
Yeah, and the world looked a lot more colourful, and just it looked like he was in the land of the fairies, really, which is a bit weird, but
It could be a dream.
It
Maybe
could
it's
be a
set
dream.
between games. Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
set in a game, within a game. Therefore, it's a
poisoned
dream.
or something. Is
Maybe,
delusional.
yeah, and he's gone delusional. Yeah,
And he licked a frog that was poisonous, and he
he's
started
on.
seeing
He's on
things.
some of those heavenly drugs.
Yeah,
Heavenly drugs that it's been spiked by.
yeah,
Okay, so that's God of War.
yep. That is God of War.
That could show up. That's going to be big regardless.
There'll be a trailer, I'm sure, if
Oh,
it
yeah.
does get announced straight away. A teaser at the least.
Oh yeah. Another thing Sony have been talking about, people have been throwing all their own rumors around, is the Neo, the 4K,
Yep.
the Sony A-Star. I made that last one up. There
The
is no
A-Star,
the
the
Sony
Sony
A-Star. So PlayStation Neo. So I know you don't know much about it, so I'm just gonna throw a few facts at you.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a PlayStation 4 on drugs.
Okay.
A steroided out PlayStation 4. So more power,
Yep.
more processing speed, graphics are better, and obviously support for 4K.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? As an adopter of the original PlayStation 4,
Yep.
they're coming out with a more powerful PlayStation 4. How does that make you feel?
I think they should have done it to begin with, really, but at the same time, was there a need back then? Because right now, I don't care about 4K. I'm pretty happy with my standard Bravia 1080p TV. You know, it's got a pretty good picture quality with it, but 4K is kind of like, for me, when you, as a consumer, get a bit too greedy. You're just like, you don't really need it, but it's something that you want maybe to show off to friends.
Yeah, I always find it weird when I'm reading on forums or YouTube comments where you'd get a couple of people saying, but it's in 4K, but it's
Yeah.
in 4K. I personally could not tell the difference.
No.
As soon as it hits 1080p, that's it for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see anything more than that. But the good thing that Sony did say about the Neo is that developers cannot just make games for the upgraded console. They have to work on both. And
Okay.
while that's good, that's also
also
a
bad.
problem
Yeah.
because now developers are working even more.
Yeah, and development costs are going to go
Up.
right up.
And game prices are going to go
Yep,
right up.
as well. So those $50, if you're talking American, £40 like English, those games are probably going to bounce up to like 50 or 60 quid.
and that's like $80.
70, 80, yeah, exactly.
Well done, Sony.
Yeah, exactly, brilliant. So you've like doubled the workload for all the developers just because you brought out a higher tech console, when really maybe what you should have done is focused on the current console and then waited until like PlayStation 5 for this.
Exactly. So some other games that might be there, Dreams will definitely be making another appearance. We
Yep.
saw it last year.
Yep.
Didn't make much sense to me.
No, it was
didn't make
really
much sense to me at all.
weird and trippy,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of looking forward to it because it just looks like such an experimental game. You could probably have fun with it once you actually know what it's about.
Exactly. I like the idea of other players experiencing your creations as well. They called it players jumping into your dreams.
Yep.
I don't know if I want anyone jumping into my dreams.
I think they'll just cause nightmares. to be
Wink,
fair.
wink.
Yeah.
But-
X-rated dream.
Again, I think what we need to see is just a more detailed explanation. Last time they just had a trailer. Maybe this year they'll have someone on stage who'll actually talk more about it.
Yeah, and give us
go
like a
into
breakdown
more depth. Yeah,
what their objective behind it is.
pretty much. I know Uncharted 4 just really recently came out. Critical acclaim, Naughty Dog, standard.
Yep.
It was gonna happen. Uncharted 4. We could be seeing an announcement about one of their next games. Do you think it might be a bit too early?
I think it would be a bit too early. What is probably more likely to be the case is if we don't have a spin-off of the series, I reckon we'll have maybe some like DLC announced.
Apparently, actually there is DLC, story DLC. You're probably right. They're probably going to talk about.
And then they'll probably
that,
show a little clip of that if they do have that.
Yeah, story DLC coming out. Obviously, everyone already knows The Last of Us 2 is happening.
Yep.
How far they've gotten with it, we don't know. Uncharted 4 just recently came out. If they did show anything on that, I would lose my mind.
Yep, that would be pretty awesome. First one was amazing. It was a bit like generic in places, but it was all really about the storytelling and the companionship and partnership with, the two main characters. I think it was Ellie, and it's been so long since I played it, I forgot the old guys. Joel and Ellie, there we go. And I think that would be really great just going back to it, because the first game was brilliant, and to be honest, it's one that I think should have a sequel.
It most definitely should. However, should The Last of Us 2 not show up, there has been another game that's apparently coming out.
The Last Guardian?
Not The Last Guardian. That has been announced. What happened to The Last Guardian?
It was announced, I think, again at last E3 to say, by the way, guys, it is actually still in development.
But nothing.
But we haven't really heard anything since. Again, we saw like a gameplay demonstration at last E3, so I'd imagine there might be something on it at this E3.
Maybe a release date.
Hopefully a release date.
Maybe a release date.
So many people felt it wasn't going to happen.
And it almost didn't happen.
Same as Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, it almost didn't happen. But it's not The Last Guardian I'm talking about. A game that apparently was listed on a retailer's website that is coming to the PS4.
Okay.
That's apparently been leaked.
Okay.
Was Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot?
Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
That's apparently coming. I don't know if it's like a remaster of the old games.
Yeah.
Which to me, I'll still play them. They were fun.
Yeah.
But apparently they might actually bring Crash back to the main stage. I know Naughty Dog don't have the rights to it anymore. It's definitely going to be coming from, I believe, Activision have it now, right?
Yeah.
But it could show up on the Sony stage. Would you like to see Crash?
I wouldn't object to it. I think it's been so long since we've actually been able to play any kind of Crash Bandicoot game that it would probably feel quite fresh again.
Other things we might see, VR games are going to show up. Hopefully the PlayStation VR will get an actual release date as well.
Nice.
We know how much it costs.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, I think that's all for Sony at the moment. Its Vita hasn't seen much of anything in the last forever.
I think they just gave up supporting it.
I think it's just remote play now for the PS4.
Yeah.
That's all that's happening for it. But let's move on real quick. Ubisoft.
Okay.
Watch Dogs 2 has already been leaked.
Yep.
The gameplay video already came out.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen the gameplay video, but I do know that the first Watch Dogs was meant to be pretty abysmal. So I don't really have high hopes for the second one doing well, but I guess they're trying to give it another go and maybe making it up to the fans.
I think
in some way.
I think in this case it might be that they understand what they did wrong.
Trying to rectify
and just rectifying their wrongs, yeah. Because a lot of what they did last time was they brought out these really amazing looking games, and Watch Dogs looked absolutely nothing like its final product.
Yep.
It's a heavily downgraded version, and everyone just went in on them about that. It was insane.
This feels like Colonial Marines.
This is not the game we were promised.
Right, exactly.
But it's coming out. Some of the video, it showed a really good parkour mechanics.
Yep.
It looked really smooth. The combat mechanics are really cool. Some English style combat.
Oh, nice.
It's basically a billiard ball with a sock in it. Do you know about that?
I know about that.
Yeah,
that's a really cruel way of
and it's just the guy just bam bam throwing that around in the sock. It looked really amazing. You gotta check that out when you have a moment.
Well, if you could see through the blood.
Oh shit, for sure. Rayman might make another appearance. Ever since Origins came out, it started garnering a lot more attention again.
Yeah.
It sort of got revitalized one more time. What'd you say about Rayman?
I'd be happy to see another Rayman. The To be honest, the last time I played Rayman was on the Dreamcast.
Wow.
We're going back some
Going
time
real back, yeah.
And I believe that was Rayman 2. And yeah, that was pretty decent. You know, back then we had quite a few decent platformers. We had Crash, we had Rayman. Technically, you could consider Spyro a platformer as well. Then you had Jak and Daxter and things like that. That's a little bit later than Dreamcast years, but still, Rayman was still big back then. So yeah, I'd like to see him return.
I really liked Rayman Legends. Yeah, I really liked Rayman Legends. I thought it was a fun game to play. The mini games are really fun, especially the football one. That was hilarious.
I need to have a look at that.
But yeah, I'll definitely like to see Rayman come back.
Yeah.
If they can revitalize Rayman after making Rayman 3 and ruining everything,
Yep.
maybe there's hope for Sonic, or maybe not.
Since Sonic Adventure 2 has just all been downhill, that was like the pinnacle of Sonic.
Assassin's Creed's gonna be there.
Oh dear. Too much Assassin's Creed.
I'm not sure what to even say about that. There's a movie coming out. The trailer looks alright.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender. He looks pretty good in it.
Fassbender.
Fassbender.
Yeah. It looks good. Maybe the new game will be based off the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't see them going down that route. It would just. I don't think it would be good. I'm not a big player of the Assassin's Creed games.
I've got quite a few of them.
Like, since they went every year, I just could not be bothered.
Yeah.
But it's one of Ubisoft's staple series, so it's definitely going to be there.
So they're probably going to announce another thing. Like, I haven't gotten around to playing Syndicate yet, to be honest. That did interest me more than Unity, and I heard like Unity was quite a flop. But you know, when Assassin's Creed 1 came out, I like that. Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood though were pretty much again the pinnacle of like the Assassin's Creed like series basically, and like Black Flag as well. That was pretty fun. Like they had the galleon pirate ship.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And that was actually pretty fun to play. But you spent most of your time, I would have said, in the ocean than on land because you didn't really know where you were going for your next objective as such. It was just so open world. But yeah, I kind of think they should drop Assassin's Creed right now and move back to Prince of Persia.
Ooh.
And perhaps bring back maybe a sequel to the cel-shaded one because it wasn't actually that bad.
I actually have a copy of that here, but I haven't had a chance to play it. I remember demoing it a long time back.
Yeah.
And it looked cool.
It was good.
Why hasn't there been a Prince of Persia game? Do you think it's because of Assassin's Creed? It's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's similar. I reckon it's because the cel-shaded Prince of Persia didn't sell too well.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Like it was quite different to like the original Sands of Time trilogy. So they did release another game called The Forgotten Sands, which was meant to be a nod back to the Sands of Time, Warrior of Im, Two Thrones, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, those original three were really, really good. Forgotten Sands was okay, and the cel-shaded one was really, really fun and a nice departure from the original type of game. But again, because it was a departure, it was split down the middle. Some fans liked it, some fans didn't, and it just didn't sell too well.
All right. So just to finish things up on Ubisoft, other things, Just Dance, Ghost Recon should definitely be there.
Yep.
And as always, they usually have the most entertaining conferences.
Yep.
Usually because of their speakers.
Yep.
But I think Ubisoft should do pretty well this time around. So, to wrap things up, apart from the conferences that were spoken about in part 1 and part 2 now, are there any specific games that, or let's say one game, if you could have your wish granted, one game that you want to appear at E3 and they say it's coming out, what would it be?
Okay, so I watch a lot of anime, and I'm honestly really, really hoping at some point soon we'll get a Berserk game.
Okay.
I think that would be absolutely amazing. We had one on the PS2 and one on the Dreamcast, and yeah, that was too long ago. We need it back, and especially now the anime is just picked up and it's actually airing from, I believe, the 1st of July in Japan.
All right, cool. I mean, in my case, I can't really say if there's anything I want to come back. A lot of the games that came out recently in the last couple of years have been really great.
Yep.
If I could pick one, actually, I take that back. If I can pick one, I would like to see Burnout come back.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Burnout, especially, I mean, the PlayStation 2 versions of Burnout, they were super fun to play.
Burnout Revenge, Burnout 2.
Oh, they were
Burnout
amazing.
3.
I would like to see Criterion go back to their roots.
Yeah. I think
If I know we spoke about EA in part 1, but if they were deciding to skip over Need for Speed this year, Burnout's the next place to go.
yeah, definitely. I just kind of miss the fast, furious arcade action of like a Burnout racer. It's just like, you know, you've got all the simulators now, you've got Gran Turismo, you've got Forza, but they don't do it for me. It's always about the arcade games. And Burnout was like the top of the arcade racer.
All right, so by the time you guys see this, E3 will be the next day. I think it will be starting the next day. As always, we don't know what's going to happen. There's always going to be surprises, but we'll be watching
And waiting.
and waiting and hopefully still breathing.
Possibly
by
at
the
your
end
window.
of it. All right, well, that's part 2 of our Noob Talk. Just wanted to make a quick note. So this Noob Talk came out on a Saturday. So the following Monday that's just coming up, there won't be a Noob Talk episode. This is just so it coincides with E3. But the week after E3, Noob Talk will be back to normal on every Monday. Thanks to CC for joining us on this episode, giving his opinions.
You're very welcome.
And as always, you know what to do. Like the video. If you agreed with anything we said, comment. If you disagreed, comment. If you're indifferent, don't ever come back again, because you have to pick a side.
Don't be a noob.
Don't be a noob, yeah. Subscribe to the channel, there'll always be more awesome content coming. Noob Talk is here every Monday. And until next time, stay free, you noobs.
Yo, peace.